My brother and I were born from the two primordial forces, two gods from the same origin. He was a true god. I was a demon god. When the gods of the heavenly realm decided they couldn't tolerate me and moved to destroy me, my brother used every last bit of his divine power to send me into the demon realm. When we parted, he was barely holding it together. Through tears, he said, "Brother, promise me. Once you're in the demon realm, don't come back out. Don't hurt anyone." A million years later, when the seal broke, he'd come find me. For that one promise, I endured a million years of torture in the demon realm. But when the seal finally broke, he never showed up. Instead, my divine power surged, flooding through every single vein. Two forces, two sides of the same coin. One rises, one falls. I knew. I was never going to see my brother again. I sealed the demon clan, shot straight up into the sky, and returned to the heavenly realm. I went through the Book of Immortality, and what I found made my blood run cold. For a million years, these so-called gods had kept my brother locked in the pitch-black underworld prison, torturing him non-stop. They severed his divine veins one by one, stripped out his divine bones, and called down heavenly lightning to strike his soul every single day. Then, on the day that million years was up, his divine soul shattered. He was gone, like he never existed. I closed the book and laughed. "You foolish gods! Thank you for removing the only thing in this world that was holding me back. Starting today, I'm going to pay you back, every single one of you. Xuan King, who gave you permission to walk out of the underworld prison on your own?" The second I stepped out of the Hall of Immortality, a divine rope cracked hard across my back. I slowly turned around. Standing by the pool was a gloomy-looking old man. I knew him, Shu Yuan, the keeper of the Hall of Immortality. Back before I got sent to the demon realm, he used to light up every time he saw my brother because he was low-ranking. In the entire heavenly realm, my brother was the only god who ever treated him with any warmth. And whenever the other immortal lords gave him a hard time, my brother was always the one who stood up for him. But then, when my brother was punished by all the gods for secretly letting me go, this guy was the very first one to pile on and stab him in the back. And that's not even the worst of it. When my brother was locked in the underworld prison, beaten down to almost nothing, this man would sneak in under the guise of visiting. He'd tear off my brother's robes, string him up at the bottom of the cave, and unleash the most disgusting words and looks on him, pushing my brother to the point where he actually considered destroying his own soul. But every time he thought of me, he thought of the promise we made, and he held on. I can't get that look out of my head. The shame, the despair in his eyes. Rage was burning through me. Now seeing that I wasn't saying anything, this old man let his eyes crawl all over me with that same disgusting look. "Well, if your highness came here because you missed this old one, I could, out of old friendship, cover for you a little." He said it with the most nauseating smile I'd ever seen, slowly closing in on me. I smiled back, calm, easy, and the second he got his hopes up, I slapped him straight into the Hall of Immortality signboard. Then 4 soul-devouring nails shot out and pinned him through all 4 limbs. Looking at those 4 black smoke nails, it finally hit him. "You're not Xuan King, you're Shu." I put a finger to my lips. I'm not really a fan of smart guys. I snapped my fingers next to his ear. His fancy robe shattered off his body on the spot. I turned away with a look of pure disgust. Tsk, tsk, tsk. Even the lowest slave in the demon realm has more dignity than this. Absolutely nothing worth looking at. Shu Yuan's face went beet red. He thrashed and screamed, "Xuan Yuan, you demon lord, how dare you come back to the heavenly palace? The gods will not let you walk away from this. I'm warning you, let me go right now and surrender while you still can." The man just would not shut up. I was done. One clean strike. I cut out his tongue. Blood poured from his mouth as he screamed in pure terror. Honestly, he looked so much better like this. Still, not quite perfect yet. I hadn't seen an expression on his face that looked worse than what my brother went through. So I drove a palm straight into his chest. That one hit sealed off all his divine veins. But I wasn't done. I yanked out his divine bones and ground them into powder, until he was soaked in blood, powerless, hanging from that signboard like a busted old rag. Only then did I feel even slightly satisfied. "Old man, do you really think those gods you believe in are coming to save you?" He glared at me with pure hatred. His eyes said it all. "You monster. Heaven and earth will never let you get away with this." Too bad he had no idea. I wasn't afraid of heaven or earth anymore. What exactly could the gods of this realm do to me? I locked Shu Yuan inside a pocket dimension within a glass bead, then turned and headed to the underworld prison. I wanted to throw him into the underworld pool, let him get a taste of what my brother endured for a million years. But before I could make a move, a flash of white burst into the cave. They spotted me standing by the pool, froze for a second, and a flicker of resentment crossed their eyes. I put away the glass bead and turned around calmly. Qingling was already right beside me, eyes locked on the pool below. "My lord, what do you think would happen to you if I just fell in right now?" I stared at him like he had 3 heads. He just shrugged, completely unbothered. Then the next second, he let out a yelp and tipped himself toward the demon energy-filled pool. A gust of wind swept by, and Qingling was caught around the waist just in time. "Xuan King! Qingling came all this way to bring you back and you tried to hurt him?" "I didn't do anything," I said flatly. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Yaohua's face, absolutely fuming. If I remembered right, she was my brother's divine consort, fated by the 3-life stone. She had said she loved my brother more than anything, but now here she was, arm in arm with another man, completely shameless about it. "Still making excuses? You think Qingling would lie about this?" I smirked. "Why not?" Yahuwah choked on her words for a second, then her expression darkened. Clearly, a million years of punishment still didn't knock any sense into you. Still the same as ever, hopeless. She shot a sealing force straight into my forehead. I was about to break through it when Qingling stepped between us. My lady, please don't blame my master. It's my fault. I wasn't strong enough to plead for his case. He's been locked away for a million years because of me. Punish me instead. Punish you? He made the mistake. Why should you take the blame? The one who needs to be punished is right here. But Qingling's words didn't calm Yahuwah down at all. It only made her angrier. She threw out a binding rope, dragged me out of the cave, and hurled me toward the mortal realm. Xuan King, releasing a demon god was already an unforgivable crime, and now you still haven't learned. You hurt Qingling. This goddess hereby sentences you to walk the endless heavenly staircase and cleanse your wicked soul. If you ever want to return to the heavenly realm, you'll crawl up every single step on your hands and knees as a mortal. Otherwise, the heavenly gates will be shut to you forever. As her words faded, an endless transparent staircase appeared in front of me. Again with this. A while back, Qingling smacked himself in the face, cried to her twice, and just like that, she used her authority as a goddess to throw my brother into the underworld prison. And now he threw himself into the pool, and she had the nerve to mistake me for my brother and sentence me to crawl up on my knees. Yahuwah, in your heart, what was my brother even worth to you? I got to my feet, slammed one foot onto the staircase, and was about to blast through the seal to grab her, when I caught the crowd of mortals nearby talking about a divine ceremony. It's that criminal god again. You seriously think you can show up to the divine ceremony and take offerings from us? You don't deserve it. We don't want blessings from a criminal god. Get down, get out of here. They came at me with eggs, rocks, and wooden sticks, throwing everything they had. You're the reason we've had no peace. You don't deserve to be a god, dropped dead. You protected the demon clan, you got our people slaughtered, and you want to join the ceremony? Hearing them call my brother a criminal god over and over, I couldn't help but laugh. These ignorant people had absolutely no idea. What they called divine miracles were nothing more than transactions. At the beginning of time, gods were mysterious, untouchable beings. They lived together and protected mortals like weaker members of their own kind. The mortals, not knowing how to repay them, started offering incense and prayers. They gave the gods names and titles. And slowly the gods became something controlled by the people they served. They developed ranks, ambitions, and rivalry. They measured their worth by how much incense and worship they received. Terrified of being forgotten, they held grand divine ceremonies every century.